I think that you don't deserve to have any custodial rights of your child. So you said that you think that parents have every right to exploit and traffic their children.
Okay, so that was a clip from an influencer called Dean Withers. So according to Wikipedia, Dean Withers is a progressive American live streamer and a political commentator. Let me just give you some context. He has this stream that he does where he just debates Trump supporters, okay? And I know it's gonna be hard, but let's just put politics aside for a minute. This isn't about politics. Okay, let's watch the clip. You may be thinking that you missed some context for it to escalate so quickly. So let's just watch the video.
My kid it's no different than a baby commercial for diapers.
Can you answer my question? Do you think that you have the right to consent to 65-year-old men looking at your son while he's naked?
I wouldn't allow it.
Do you think
That's
that
my
you have the
responsibility as a
right?
father.
Do you think that you have the right to allow it? Do you think if you did allow it, that you would be violating the consent of your child?
They have no choice in the matter whatsoever. It's my decision as the parent. And I wouldn't put my kid in that situation. That's why I think pageants are weird in the first place. I would never...
That seems like a fair response, right? Am I crazy for saying that? He wouldn't put his kids in danger. He wouldn't put his kids in situations where they may be uncomfortable. That seems like a good dad, right? But you can see Dean's face, and he clearly is not happy. But why? You may be thinking why he's not happy. So let's hear it from Dean himself. And I didn't edit that part, okay? He was stun locked for like a minute because this dad said he'd want to keep his child safe, and that's shocking. That's shocking news. And firstly, okay, so I know what happens in the video, okay? This shit you see right here is so performative. Look at his eyes, man. There's no life behind those eyes. They're dead, okay? You were not shocked. This is shocking to you. This is shocking. Okay, so this whole video basically boils down to consent, okay? Dean thinks children cannot consent, obviously, but Dean also thinks that parents are in no position to make decisions for their kids. Okay, so that's his stance. So the dad is clearly saying, yeah, my child cannot consent, so I'm going to make decisions for them, which is valid, I guess. I hope I'm not saying something controversial. It doesn't sound crazy to me. But aren't the parents supposed to be responsible for their kids? Well, I don't know. Let's ask Dean.
Amen. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I think that you don't deserve to have any custodial rights of your child. So for those watching, their handle is go. It's gonna be their handle. If there happens to be anybody in here.
So this was clearly not the right response to Dean's question, right? And because this guy doesn't share Dean's opinion, clearly the next logical step is to remove that child from the home, right? Because this guy is not fit to be a father. How dare you try to take responsibility for your child? How dare you? What's going on? Am I out of the loop? Is there something I'm not getting? How is this a valid reaction? How is this where your brain goes next? That, oh, this guy thinks he's responsible for his child, so I'm gonna involve the government. I'm gonna try to ruin his life. What do you think is supposed to happen? Let's say I have a child. What if my child doesn't want to go to school? Can I not force him to go to school? What happens if I don't? Okay, I'm gonna listen to the child. I'm not gonna force my decisions upon them. I'm not gonna consent for them to be sent to school. Don't you think the state is gonna come for me because I'm not giving my child an education? Oh, what if my child doesn't want to take a bath? Right? He doesn't want to take a bath. He doesn't want to eat food. Do I not force him to do that? Do I just leave him walking around like a skunk? Don't you think I'm gonna get booked for child neglect? Isn't the state still gonna come after me? See, this is a clear case of Dean having this opinion, which he has no answer to. He thinks the child cannot consent, which is true. The child cannot consent. But the parents cannot make decisions for their children as well? Where does that leave us? Who is out here making decisions? And secondly, how is Dean able to make decisions for the kid? Did you ask the kid, Dean? Did you ask him if he wants to be removed from his home? How are you taking decisions for the child? And also, I want to mention that Dean is 20. He's 20 years old. He was a kid 2 years ago, and he thinks he knows better. I'm supposed to take advice from a 20-year-old kid about how to raise children? Dude, you were a child 2 years ago. What are we doing here?
That's good. It has like facial recognition software.
Oh, you can find me. It's fine. Nothing I said was wrong.
And he's trying to dox the guy. And facial recognition software. Who do you think is watching your? You think the FBI is sitting in their headquarters watching Dean's stream, thinking, "Oh, Dean asked me to help. Dean called upon me. Let me run this guy's info through my facial recognition software and fucking kidnap his child." What are these opinions, man?
Okay,
I just said that the kid doesn't get to make the decision.
What's your name?
I would never put them in that situation.
Okay, what's your name?
And why are you trying to dox people, dude? That's weird.
Because I want to find who you are so I could call CPS and have them take your child away from you.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you would like to try to do that.
Yes, I would. So
They would never even do it. That's the best part.
Okay. What's
Because
your name?
I would take the part, and I have a witness sitting here who's heard me say I would never put my child in that situation.
Okay. So what's your name?
So don't worry, move the goalpost too, by the way.
So you said that you think that parents have every right to exploit and traffic their children. So
No, that's not what I said.
Dude, that is the way. That is not even paraphrasing at this point. You just put up something completely different. That's not what he said. How does this go? How does this go from a father saying, "I'm going to take care of my child and I'm not going to put my child in uncomfortable positions," to you thinking that means that he wants to traffic his children? How did you arrive at this conclusion? What was your train of thought? Please. How is this? Show me the breadcrumbs, man. Let me follow it. How did you come here? What are we doing? Where are we?
So I'm not going to debate it with you. That is what you said. So I just putting this out there for anybody. Feel free to take his profile picture. Maybe you could go on like tiktok.com/his handle. You could save his profile picture, run it through some like reverse image search. Maybe it will link back to like a Facebook or something where you could find his name. And if you do find said information, that's public, by the way.
You're more than welcome to.
Feel free to take that information and report it to CPS.
Yeah, so he just goes on to ask his followers to do his dirty work for him. To pry on this guy to get into his. He gives out his handle. I just cut it out. Yeah, he basically asks all his viewers to go and harass this guy and trying to ruin his life because his opinion didn't match yours. You run a show on the internet and you actively go out and trying to find these callers so you can debate them. And when their opinion doesn't match yours, you try to ruin their lives. This is just absolutely disgusting behavior from a guy who just turned 20. Just because you have a show on the internet, it doesn't make you the authority on whatever you're talking about. It doesn't give you the right to ruin people's lives. It's on the internet, man. Just let it be on the internet. Why you're trying to go out into the real world and try to ruin people's lives? That's just absolutely sick behavior and narcissistic that you think you know better. You know better than everyone else. And people who don't agree with you are clearly wrong and clearly traffickers because they want to protect their children. So after this went viral, out of the goodness of his heart, Dean just knew that what he did was wrong. Not because of the backlash. No. It was because he knew that he went too far. He shouldn't have done that. His point still stands that he thinks they're advocating for child trafficking, but he thinks the way he went about it was wrong. I won't call it an apology, but this was what he had to say. After some more thought, I believe that what he said was extremely bad, and given the full context of the conversation, what he said is made even worse. He defends Trump looking at teenagers while naked, given that the parents were okay with it. So this was the preface of the whole conversation that started. Something about beauty pageants and Trump attending one and going backstage. We're not going to touch this right now. This is a whole different can of worms. But let's just focus on his reply. But with that said, my response here to my community was not it. I could have handled it significantly better and dropped the ball. I will absolutely acknowledge that. Really? You'll acknowledge it? It had nothing to do with the backlash? Do you think if people didn't react this way, you would have been apologizing right here? Later, he posted another video, just going into the specifics and talking to the guy again.
There's many people on this platform and others saying that I doxed an innocent father that simply said kids can't consent. And to respond to the first half of that claim, saying that he was doxed, that's also not true. I told the people watching my conversations with this guest live to take his public information privately to his local CPS authorities, even explicitly stating to not post it on the internet.
Yeah, that's not making it any better. you still incited people to go after this guy who's just a regular Joe. The only mistake he made was calling onto your show. And he's saying all this like we misunderstood him the first time. And that's where all this anger is coming from. No, you're saying the same shit. It doesn't make it any better. You publicly asked all your viewers to go and harass this guy, but do it privately. That's your defense.
Information privately to his local CPS authorities, even explicitly stating to not post it on the internet. And I didn't do this with an intention of malice or harm, but rather because of a potential concern of the safety of children. These are genuine red flags.
You have absolutely no concern for that child. Okay? Let's just stop pretending. This is just because this guy's opinion, the caller's opinion, is different from his. That's all this was. And he's in no position to give people advice. He's in no position to make decisions for people. He's in no position to think that he knows better. This is his reaction when someone on his chat asked him if that was a vape that he was smoking. Okay? They didn't bully him. They didn't say it was a vape. They asked him if it was.
Pin, I'm sorry that I have anxiety. Okay, and honestly, yeah, it is kind of the fault of people like you that want to come up here and bully and berate me over something that I don't do. Okay, so cut the shit. It's not a vape. All right, it's an anxiety pin, and God, the amount of times that I've asked you to respect me and respect my anxiety pin is, at this point, getting ridiculous, Cody. So please,
Justified crash out?
For the final and for the billionth time, will you please just respect the fact that it's not a vape and that it's an anxiety pin?
Oh, okay. Dude, chill. You're just giving yourself anxiety. Holy shit. This poor guy just entered the chat and was curious what this famous streamer was doing and asked him a question. And this was the response. This guy clearly has a background of giving very level-headed responses and, valid reactions to things. So he also replied to this tweet criticizing him, and this was his response. I've come to the conclusion that while what I did wasn't illegal, it still would have been better for me to privately seek an inquiry of the investigation through CPS. No, it would have not. Do not include kids in your petty online battles, man. I do think that it's safer than sorry related to these subjects, and that I trust CPS to make a proper determination, not me. He challenged the idea that Trump walking backstage before a Miss Teen USA show to look at changing naked teenagers was wrong by asserting that maybe their parents were okay with it. I guess we have to talk about it. These are parents who are putting their minor kids into beauty pageants. Okay? I don't think they're all there. Firstly, I think beauty pageants are gross. Secondly, I'm not expecting top-notch parenting from them. I would criticize them the same. I don't agree with that. And yeah, Trump walking in backstage, I'm not sure what happened here. I don't know if they were actually naked or it's just exaggeration. But in either case, yeah, that's weird. But while agreeing with all those points, I can also say that what you did was also fucking weird. He affirmed that if he were in their shoes, he would not personally allow it. However, affirmed that ultimately it would be his choice, not his child's choice, to allow an older man to sexually exploit them. He said he personally wouldn't allow it. That's all I need to know. I don't care what other people did. I don't know their kids. I don't know them. It's not my place. It's my place to judge them. I can judge them. And if I wanted, I could do something about that. But this is a guy who clearly said he's not going to let that happen to his kids. And yeah, it is his choice. And he's making the right choice. Why are you mad at him for that? As an add-on to the second fact, obviously kids can't consent to sexual exploitation either. Nobody in the equation can consent to the action. The parent can't consent for the kid, and the kid can't consent for themselves. Where does that leave us? What are we supposed to do? Do I not take responsibility for my child? Do I not take decisions in order to protect them? What are you talking about? This is just gross overreaction and nothing else. I still can't get over the fact that this guy was this shocked. He was this shocked to learn that a parent is responsible for their kid. I mean, where are you living, man? What's your life like? What do you do? I'm so curious. How do you live every day? Man, I just hate people like this who think they're on some moral high ground and they can just look down at us and judge all they want and make decisions for us. That's not how this works. You're an influencer on the internet who's 20. I don't think you can tell people how to live their lives. Shut the fuck up. Take it on the chin. You clearly made a mistake. Just don't fuck with people's kids, man. Is that so hard? Are you that desperate to be right that you're willing to do that because someone doesn't agree with you on the internet? All right, that's it for me. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you again.